Hey everyone, before I start the video, I have a few things to say. I cannot believe the response I got on my last video. It honestly blew me away. I have never in the 7 years I've been doing YouTube had a video break 100 views in the first day, let alone 3,000. I thought it was going to slow down, but oh lord, it just keeps gaining popularity. I really appreciate every single one of you. It's not every day that you can log on to the internet and have people say nice things about you. Even the people who disagreed with me were really respectful and said I put out a good professional video looking out there. So I just want to say thank you to all of you, especially Nando V Movies for adding me to the playlist so I could get some recognition. Link to his channel in the description. Okay, thanks for coming to Poppy Law's TED Talk. Let's get to what you came to see. Also, major spoilers ahead. Avengers Endgame has been out for about a week now, and I've already seen tons of great videos out there hitting great points on the movie. This movie is the conclusion to the Infinity Saga. This movie means so much to people, and it shows. 11 years in the making, all leading up to this moment. The only other movie franchise this successful to build a universe is Star Wars. It wasn't just superheroes running around in costumes saving the day anymore. It was people we could relate to, who also happened to have superpowers. It was people most of us grew up with. I was 8 years old when the first Iron Man movie came out. All of these heroes became a part of my life, and I'm so excited to see what is to come. It could honestly be anything. Marvel has more than proven their worth to me and all of us. I mean, look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. I grew up reading comics, and if I'm being honest, I didn't know who Star-Lord was until the movie came out. But I mean, look at him now. Everyone knows his name. It took some random people from the comics and made them whole. Made them some of the most iconic people in pop culture today. This movie, for me, was truly the final chapter to a new beginning. Going into the movie, I had my theories. I had my suspicions. I knew it was going to be an amazing movie, but I still had no idea what to expect. And even though I had no idea what to expect, my expectations were blown out of the water. The tone is set right away with the opening scene of Hawkeye with his kids and his wife. It is one of the most impressive things to do to make a whole theater get chills and simultaneously cry within the first 5 minutes of the movie. All I could think about when this happened was, oh no, I'm gonna cry a lot during this movie, aren't I? And then I thought to myself, no, I can do this. I am not gonna cry. But alas, there I was in a pool of my own tears. The difference in emotion that I felt within the first hour of this movie was just mind-boggling. So much happened in this movie. Not only did it have so much continuity, but it gave so much extra meaning to the other movies within the MCU. It developed the stories in such a way that it answered so many questions that other Marvel movies left us with. It left us with completed character arcs, which I plan on diving into in maybe next videos or so. Cap, Tony, Hulk, Thor, even Black Widow. They were all left with a sense of completion. Like they grew and learned the perfect lessons. Obviously Thor, Hulk, and possibly Black Widow will have continuations. But in their current state, they have a redeemable conclusion. I left the theater feeling like the Russo brothers did the Infinity Saga justice. Very, very minor things I did not like or understand, which I will talk about later on. I had to delay writing this essay script just so I could decompress and think about what I wanted to say, and go see it again so I can notice things that I didn't notice the first time. Because watching it the first time left me in shock, awe, and I was left speechless. It was truly an epic conclusion. Well, obviously there are a ton of connections in the comics. I mean, I'm probably missing so many, but here are a few I pieced together. If I missed some that you noticed, maybe leave it in the comments or in my Discord in the spoilers channel. Oh yeah, by the way, I have a Discord. You should totally join. Link in the description. One big one that I noticed right away was an Incredible Hulk one. In this scene, right after Banner snapped to bring everyone back and Avengers HQ was destroyed, under everything was Hulk, Rhodey, and Rocket. The one keeping them alive was Hulk holding up the foundation of the building. For me, this was a direct reference to Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars issue number 4, when Hulk held up an entire mountain to save the rest of the heroes, dropped on them by the Molecule Man. For me, it seemed directly ripped from the comics. Obviously, Avengers HQ is not a 150 billion ton mountain, but this seems more like a believable, reasonable feat for the big screen. The next one I noticed is not only a comic reference, but it's also a reference to past movies. and that is the elevator scene with Cap and Crossbones. This is 100% a callback to the Winter Soldier's elevator scene, but it is also a reference to Captain America Steve Rogers Volume 1 comic that was a big reveal to everyone. Captain America uttered the lines, "Hail Hydra." In the movie, he says this to get Loki's scepter from Hydra agents, which worked, but I saw as kind of a joke towards the comics because that comic was not very well received by most. Maybe sort of a hot fix on Marvel's part. Morgan Stark in Endgame is Tony's daughter, but in the comics is a very different person. Morgan is actually Tony's first cousin, who does not like him very much. He believed that his father, Edward Stark, was cheated out of a spot in the company and blames Tony for it and is plotting his revenge. Thankfully, Morgan is not a psychopath in the movies, but it is his cute daughter. A big one that a lot of people picked out is Nebula taking the Infinity Gauntlet. In the comics, Nebula is actually the one to reverse everything, which is epic, don't get me wrong, but let's be honest. Seeing Tony with all 6 Infinity Stones in his armor was next level. Another Cap one is actually him holding Mjolnir and saying, "Avengers Assemble." In Fear Itself number 7, Odin's long-lost brother, the Serpent, had taken over a lot of the world and killed Bucky. Cap had rallied the Avengers in an epic fashion by picking up Mjolnir and yelling his trademark line. Those are quite a bit that I noticed, but if you noticed more, let me know in the comments and in my Discord. I'd love to hear from you. Like I referenced previously, there are so many completed character arcs. Honestly, too many for me to talk about in this video. So if you want me to do more, you know where to find me. For the sake of the video's length, I'm only going to be focusing on 2, and in my opinion the 2 most important, Cap and Tony. In my previous video, I went over on what split them apart and how the others felt. Starting with Cap, Cap became the hero that everyone needed. Cap has always been that way. I honestly think that Cap has the strongest will out of all of the Avengers. When there is darkness, he had always found the light. He is a textbook epic hero archetype. His strong will and his blind positivity has also been his downfall. Cap didn't know how to live for himself. Everything he has done has been to help others. I mean, look at him in Endgame. He hosts a support group for the survivors to talk and help them through the trauma. He hasn't looked for love, new friends, a new job. He can't settle down because the one person who he wanted to settle down with had died and is in the past. The words that Black Widow say to him, "We both need to get a life," hold a way deeper meaning. Not only was it said by her, but by Tony. The reason Tony does not want to help in the beginning is because he made a life. He married Pepper and has a daughter. Through pure body language and voice inflection, Tony showed Cap that he should move on and settle down and start a new life. And that's exactly what he did. He had the opportunity to settle down in the past, and he took it. He got the life he wanted. He learned how to live, and he got his dance. As for Tony, there's quite a bit to talk about. In Iron Man, Tony was a playboy millionaire. He was arrogant, ignorant, and he didn't want any other way besides his. Throughout the movies, Tony's ego has always been his downfall. Like I said in my last video, I said that Tony never got upset because he would say, "I am the smartest person in the room, so this conversation doesn't matter." Which is true for Tony for most of the time. He is the smartest person in the room, but it doesn't allow him to expand on it. It shows throughout the movies as well. He isn't well liked by a lot of people. In the first Avengers, Cap says to Tony,
"Yeah, big man in a suit of armor. Take that off, what are you? The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play, to lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you."
And as a lot of you pointed out to me, a big part of Tony learning to be a hero without the suit was shown in Iron Man 3. This is very true, but I think a big part of character growth was that this phrase is constantly repeated throughout the movies. In the original Avengers, Iron Man 3, and Spider-Man Homecoming, which brings me to Endgame. In the beginning, you can see he doesn't seem like he learned anything from Civil War, as he starts barraging Steve with remarks of betrayal. I'm gonna go ahead and blame this on being malnourished from being in space for so long, but after a 5-year time jump, you can see he started a family and started a life. He has something to fight for. Not that Earth isn't something to fight for, but having a wife and daughter changes your view on a lot of things. They become your world. I mean, look at Hawkeye. Look at what he did when his family was taken away from him. The internal struggle that Tony has when he figures out time travel is noticeable. He told Pepper that he could put it in a lockbox and drop it to the bottom of a river. For me, this was Tony thinking back to his old ways. Pepper saw right through him though, and said that he could never do that. This shows growth. Tony knows Pepper is right, and it shows. The end of Endgame was truly a perfect conclusion to Iron Man. Tony laid down his life to show everyone that he is not the man the masses portray him to be.
You think you fight for us? You just fight for yourself. Who's going to avenge my son, Stark?
You don't deserve to wear one of these. Shut it down!
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off, what are you? The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play, to lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you.
My son was excited. He could see the Iron Man from the car window. And the Avengers? They went home.
And on the side of the shell is painted one word: Stark.
It is one thing to question the official story and another thing entirely to make wild accusations or insinuate that I'm a superhero.
I never said you were a superhero.
The futurist, gentlemen! The futurist is here! He sees all. He knows what's best for you, whether you like it or not.
Hank Pym always said you never can trust a Stark.
You have my respect, Stark. I hope they remember you.
The only person to ever compliment him was Thanos, and that says something about how important him sacrificing himself is. He didn't care. He wanted to save the world and do the right thing. These two characters, Cap and Tony, both taught each other the lessons that only the other one could teach. Tony taught Cap how to live and start a life, while Cap taught Tony how to jump on the grenade. A perfect conclusion for the flawed characters, the human characters. Hey, just wanted to say thank you for making it this far in the video. If you enjoyed my content and want to see more, let me know in the comments or join my Discord and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear all your opinions. I tried to reply to almost all of the comments, but you all overwhelmed me because there were so many and I did not expect it. I really love hearing your takes, even if you don't agree with me, because it's giving me insight on everything. Anyway, also check out my Twitch to hear a less scripted me. I know, scary stuff. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.